What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 1 of Behind the Scenes with me, Sully. And basically what I want to try and do with this series is I want to try and give you guys more of a raw, uncut snapshot into me and my YouTube life, basically. And this series is just going to be a space where I can express any issues or drama I'm having with YouTube and what's been playing on my mind YouTube-wise. And as the title of the series suggests, it's a behind-the-scenes look with Sully. So just to make it clear, it's all still going to be tied to YouTube. I'm not going to bore you with too many personal details. For example, like how I took my dog for a walk down the beach and he took a dump and I didn't pick it up and I got a ticket. You know, boohoo. You don't have to worry about any drama or crap like that. And one more thing I want to make clear is that this isn't going to be a regular series. It's probably not going to be weekly. It's just going to be as we go. It's just if things crop up that are affecting me in my kind of YouTube bubble, then I'll share them here. And to be completely honest, you know, for you guys that are subscribed to me, I don't know if you want this content. I don't know if this interests you, but maybe even if 5 of you find it interesting and you appreciate it, then that's good enough. And like I said, this is a completely separate playlist and series, so I'll clearly title it that this is what it is. So if this is something that just doesn't interest you, then just don't worry about checking out the next video. That's cool. Just stick to the usual stuff that I put out. You know, I'm under no illusion that these videos are going to go gangbusters. I'm highly aware that I'll probably be lucky to get 10 views on this video. But anyway, let's jump into it. So as the title suggests of this video, I want to share with you guys a bit of backstory, and I guess I've been giving it a bit of thought now that I've had a chance to actually look back on it, but I want to give you guys some understanding about how the last 6 months have been, or should I say the first 6 months of my amateur YouTube life have been. And you know, it's had ups and downs, it's had highs and lows. It's mostly been a good experience. And we're almost at 100 subscribers. So I thank everybody who's signed on and who's left comments and has enjoyed my content. Big thank you to all you guys, because at the end of the day, I probably wouldn't have kept going if I hadn't have picked up a few subscribers along the way. Because, you know, as much as I enjoy doing this, if I'm talking to nobody, I'm getting 0 views, then what's the point? But let's go back to the beginning, and I want to fill you guys in on, you know, what inspired me to take on this YouTube challenge. And it was actually kind of a really strange small spark that started it. I believe I was talking to my best mate just about gaming news and articles and all that yada yada yada. And I kind of realized that he was kind of my only forum where I found that he was kind of interested in hearing what I had to say. You know, we could ping ideas backward and forward. But I got to a point where I felt like I was spamming him so much with so much crap that he probably either couldn't keep up or he wasn't interested. Which, you know, it's fair enough. He's busy, he's got things to do. He was at uni full time at the time, so he can't just entertain me and entertain my opinions and have a constant conversation going with me about bits and pieces happening in the gaming industry. So I kind of thought to myself, wouldn't it be good if I could have another outlet for my opinions and thoughts? And a lot of people at that point would naturally turn to forums. And just for me personally, that wasn't an option that I was comfortable with. And that's just because my growing up, I was dyslexic. I had some issues picking up reading and writing. Obviously, I'm more or less fine now. I can read, write perfectly fine at the moment. But I'm not the fastest reader or writer going around. And in a public forum space, I can feel a little bit edgy and I feel like I'm slow and, you know, it kind of plays on my mind a little bit. So my next thought was, well, how about YouTube? How about we give YouTube a go? And I kind of hummed and hawed about it for a while. And what actually got me over the line was another YouTuber, you know, compared to me, a very big YouTuber called Review Tech USA. And I quite liked his presentation. I mean, most of the time in his videos, he's fairly level-headed and he gets his opinion out there, and I quite like his content. And I looked at it, I'm like, well, you know, he's kind of doing what I want to do in a way. You know, I want to be able to talk about the gaming industry, share a level-headed opinion, and get everybody else's feedback. So I kind of thought, well, you know, he started doing this in about his late 20s, which is where I'm at now, so I'm going to give it a go. And you know, I'm not under any illusion that I'm going to be the next Review Tech USA. I don't think that's going to happen. You know, I'll probably be lucky if I'm a channel that gets to 1,000 subscribers. And don't get me wrong, if I got to 1,000 subscribers, I'd be over the moon. As far as I'm concerned, that would be mission accomplished. So a combination of my best mate and Review Tech USA kind of led me to this dead end of, well, okay, well, let's give YouTube a go then. Let's just give it a crack. And that was about 6 months ago. Personally, in my opinion, I started putting out content and, you know, it was like talking to a brick wall. Slowly and steadily and surely, I picked up subscribers and, you know, we're almost at 100 now, like I said earlier. And probably roughly after after a month of doing it, YouTube became a flat out obsession for me. And you may or may not think that's a good or a bad thing. I mean, on the bright side, because I'm pouring so much time and energy into it, I could potentially be growing faster than other channels, which are maybe only putting out one video a week, or are kind of only pursuing it in a part-time kind of on the side hobby. And for me, it was the complete opposite. I was literally pouring all of my time into it and putting out as much high quality content as I could at the time. Obviously now, when I look at my content now compared to what it was 6 months ago, I think it's trash. But for me personally, I was in a 45-hour full-time job. I had work commitments, I had work responsibilities. I'm also in a relationship, which I live with my girlfriend. And when you take a 45-hour work week and a relationship and cram that into a week, it doesn't leave you with a lot of free time. So all of my free time was going into YouTube. And to be completely honest with you, my girlfriend probably suffered due to that. I was neglecting her, I wasn't giving her the time that she deserved, I wasn't giving our relationship the time that it deserved. I was basically coming home from work and jumping on the computer and trying to create content. And it was unfair to her. This is probably something that I've only realized maybe a couple of months ago. It took me about maybe 3 months of doing YouTube before I realized, I've become obsessed, I have an issue, and she brought it up with me. We actually had a very long chat about it. It was a healthy chat, it was a constructive chat, and I came to the conclusion that, I agreed with her. I have an issue. I've become obsessed with YouTube. Not addicted, but I've become obsessed. So that was a turning point for me with YouTube. That was probably a low point. While I was growing quickly and steadily, putting out a lot of content, I was probably, I think deep down, I was feeling like I was burning out a little bit. So this was a bit of a wake-up call, and it was a bit of a refreshing wake-up call at the same time. And funnily enough, since I've probably slowed down a little bit, I went from putting out 5 videos a week to probably about 3 videos a week, more or less. That seems to be what I'm putting out now. Sometimes 4 if I really want to push it, which I try not to push it. I try to put a cap on it these days because I love my girlfriend and I want to be fair to her and I want to be fair to our relationship. And funnily enough, since I've actually slowed down, my subscriber rate's actually increased. I've been putting on subscribers faster. So I don't know, maybe the fact that I maybe was burnt out a little bit, maybe that was showing in my videos, or maybe I was trying to find things to talk about that wasn't really interesting or newsworthy and people didn't really care about it. Whereas now maybe I'm picking the cream of the crop topics that I want to talk about. But anyway, that was kind of the low point to the last 6 months of, the beginning of my YouTube life. But let's move on to the positive part of my last 6 months as being an amateur YouTuber. And to be honest, there's a lot more positives than negatives. For starters, I've met a lot of fantastic people along the way, which I kind of asked myself, why didn't I start doing this earlier? I've met so many fantastic people and I get to have so many fantastic conversations. Not even just on YouTube anymore. I talk to these guys in other messaging forums and apps like Discord. By the way, I have my Discord server up and running, which I'll link down below in the description. Feel free to come and join us and have a chat. Just to shout out a couple of these guys, I first met on YouTube Corrupt Clay from Corrupt Clay Gaming. If you don't know who he is, go check out his channel. He does fantastic reviews and opinions on games and news and bits and pieces along the way as well. And the second couple of guys that I met, which I actually do the Average Gamer podcast with, both Joe and Grant, both fantastic chaps. Again, I should have started doing this earlier just so I could meet these guys and chat with them and chill with them and have so many interesting conversations with these guys, both fantastic. And I've met a lot of other people along the way as well, which, I wouldn't have otherwise met if I hadn't started YouTube. And, I do keep in contact with a lot of guys on Twitter as well. I've met guys even here in Australia that I would have never had the opportunity to meet if I hadn't have started YouTube. And every single one of these guys, they're valuable to me. I value their friendship and I just wish I'd started doing it earlier. But just quickly, a couple more points that I wanted to bring up, which are big positives. And they're little things, but I think they're important and they're worth mentioning. And that is, the first one would be, simple things like editing, video editing, audio editing, and the finer workings of, how searches work through Google and YouTube. All of that kind of all adds up into, I think, one package or a skill set, which could be applied into other areas of your life in the future. Kind of taken a very keen liking to the video editing side of things, that might be something that I pursue later down the track. And finally, the last little positive that I'll share, and it's a skill that, everybody has to a certain degree, obviously, It's the ability to just communicate with people in day-to-day life, whether it be at work, home, with friends or family. And not that I was bad at that, but I feel like YouTube's kind of sharpened those skills up. When you get in front of the microphone, at least when I first begun, it was so hard. As soon as you hit record, you'd freeze up. You couldn't think of anything. You'd just die inside and you get stage fright, basically. It was like a deer caught in the headlights. But eventually you get past that and you start to feel more and more comfortable behind the mic. And, to save on editing time, you learn to become very efficient at gathering your thoughts and verbally presenting them through the mic. And I feel like it's a skill that you sharpen, and I feel like that's translated into my real life with work, family, and friends. And I don't think I would have had that opportunity to sharpen that skill without YouTube. And I think we'll wrap it up, guys, but thanks for listening to this first episode of Behind the Scenes with Sully. And I hope you enjoyed it. And let me know down below, have you had a similar experience through YouTube? Are you an amateur YouTuber? Or are you thinking about getting into YouTube? Hit me up down below in the comments. Or like I said previously in the video, get onto Discord. I've got the link in the description, so get onto there, hit me up, we'll have a chat, and I'll answer any questions you have. But thank you for listening to me about, my first 6-month journey with YouTube. And here's to many more months and many more good months ahead. And here's to 100 subscribers. Hopefully we'll hit that before the end of the year, guys. Alright guys, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. My name's Sully, this is One Guy's Opinion. We're going to talk in the next video.